Traffic Jam is on now.
Hey, how you doing? This is Kenny Williams, and here we're at Traffic Jam, and we have our guest for today for our interview, and this is April. Now, it's April Storm Perry or
Yes.
April Perry?
No, it's April Storm Perry. April Storm Perry.
Storm Perry. Let's start right there.
All right.
Let's start Storm. Where did Storm come from?
Funny you should ask, Kenny. Actually, so let me just give you a little background. So I am the youngest of four. Okay.
You know what?
I'm the youngest of four. I have two older sisters and one older brother. Okay. I was born in Brooklyn. Okay. I'm not gonna tell the year. Okay, because I like to keep people guessing. However, I will say that the year that I was born in Brooklyn, it was like a winter storm, kind of like a winter storm blizzard in the springtime in April. Okay. Wow. So my mom was on her way to work when she went into labor pretty much. And because I think the blizzard was going on the day before, and it was that morning after that her water broke and everything. So you know how it is. I know y'all know how it is in New York, or if you don't know, the morning after snow is always like hectic. The trains are all messed up. Like it's bad. Okay. So, and my mom, my mom worked up until the day that she went into labor. She took the train, she walked, you know what I'm saying? So
wow.
That's how I came into the world. Like, I'm here, wow. You know what I'm saying? Yes.
You know how I can connect so much as a father. My daughter was born in February of 1996, and that was the big blizzard. I should have named my daughter Storm.
Right.
Like they was back to back. It was, remember being mountains. New York, Brooklyn, they don't clean up outside streets.
No.
Wow. So you're originally from Brooklyn. What parts of Brooklyn?
Bed-Stuy, do or die. Yeah. Brooklyn,
Wow. Yeah, so you're a home girl. What's up, home girl?
You know what I'm saying?
So take us on your journey into entertainment. How did you get into entertainment?
All right. So I now, to be honest, like I really think that I was a born entertainer. Like I always wanted to do something in front of the camera, and I've always been really, really goofy. And that to say, I had no idea about my own kind of like inherent kind of like talent or anything like that. So, I started, I was in dance in high school, and I did a couple musicals, but by no means did I find myself to be like a professional kind of like performer or actress or anything like that. And then I went to college. Still, like I had taken college classes doing drama and stuff. Like I made a C in drama 15. Okay. You know what I'm saying? How do you make a C in a drama class? But I made a C in my drama class. I was a communication studies major. I really wanted to drop out of school, honestly, but then I found communication studies, which is all kind of like, behind the scenes work, all that media stuff. And, I was also into makeup. So I did makeup for a year after college. But this whole time, even though I wasn't connected, like thinking that I wanted to be a performer, I was trying to get to New York City. Like, I was like, I'm moving back to New York City. Because when I was born in Brooklyn, but I moved to North Carolina when I was 8, went to college and everything. And then I moved to New York. And when I moved to New York, I was always about that life. You know what I'm saying? I was always trying to be up in the mix. Like, I remember I would look and see, I was like, I had like my Vibe magazines that I used to get before I moved. And I'd be like, okay, yep, this is a poppin' place. And I would write it down. I'd be like, I'm going there next. I'm going to go apply to these different places. Cause I was like, you got to know people in high and low places when you get to New York. So like I worked at Puff Daddy's restaurant, what is it, Justin?
Justin's, wow.
Justin's. I remember Monday Night Football. I was horrible. I hated working there. I was horrible. On Monday nights, it would be packed with like celebrities and football players, and you know, they're ordering drinks. I'm losing the tickets. Like, where did this person go? It was horrible. But anyway, I did makeup. I did that. I worked in production. And then at one of my makeup jobs, I was actually working at the New York City Ballet and at the Lincoln Center. And I was the hair, makeup, and design assistant to the guy who like put everything together for like the opening of the Nutcracker and all that stuff. So anyway, I got fired from that job because, to make a long story short, like he tried to try me and like he got confused that, you know, I smile and stuff. But, you know, at the end of the day, I'm from Brooklyn and homie don't play that. That was kind of like what I experienced. So once I stood up for him myself and let him know, you know, what it was, you know, then he fired me. So, but he, you know, one of the things that he said before I left was, you know, you should really get into television. And ironically, my first internship, because nobody would really hire me from North Carolina, because I didn't have like a, you know, I didn't have a New York address. I wound up moving in with my mom's best friend. So I moved in with her, and, you know, she was only charging me like $100 a month. So I got an internship. My first internship when I moved was with a talent manager, and I became her assistant. And she paid me $100 a week stipend. So I learned about the acting business by being her assistant. I was not interested in acting at all. Like, you know, I remember thinking like, oh, what did she say? I was like, so the actors just kind of like wait around until somebody maybe calls them for an audition and maybe they get booked. Like, what kind of life is that? So anyway, I had got fired from the New York City Ballet, right? And then he told me that I should get into television. And I'm the type of person, like, I was like, okay, say less. So then I called who I worked for, the talent manager. Surprisingly, she didn't want to work with me. I don't know why, but no, but she didn't want to work with me. But she kind of like, because she mostly worked with kids. And she had long-time adult clients, but she really mostly focused on working kids.
You're watching The Traffic Jam.
So here you are, you're adjusting to now the pandemic. Now we've been 8 months, 9 months, however into it. What do you see going forward for April Storm Perry?
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, you know, I see wonderful things in, you know, happening. And let me just start by saying this. The one positive thing that I've noticed that the pandemic has brought me is it really caused, like, you know, the world stopped, right? So that world stopping really gave me a chance to have the time, and just the energy really made me reflect inwardly. So I've always been like a go-getter, you know, and I've accomplished a lot, but I feel like I've always been a little all over the place, always a little unfocused. You know what I mean? You could probably tell, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, you know, but, you know, I get it. I pull it together, you know, like it all has like a common thread. So basically I've been able to kind of get myself grounded, and really now by grounding myself, I realize, like, I don't know. I just feel like I've kind of like tapped into my inner potential, which I obviously always knew existed, but now it's just kind of, I don't know. It's just, I feel I've tapped in a deeper way. So what I'm working on is my one woman show. And yes, my one woman show is going to be, I'm thinking kind of like a combination of stand-up comedy and storytelling.
You're watching The Traffic Jam.
I know that feeling of when you're in this umbrella of entertainers, you sing, you dance. Mm-hmm. But what is the one thing? What's your passion? Like, is it dancing? Is it singing? Is it comedy? Where do you go if you get a call from a big producer? What is it that call you want it to be?
That's a good question. I'm gonna be completely honest. Like, singing is the thing that I absolutely love to do the most. but like it's just, see, I really feel like I'm a all around entertainer, but I would say the most fun for me is like singing. Acting for me is really, really fun. I love seeing the finished product, but when it comes to acting, like my favorite is kind of like live. Like I feel like I'm really best in the moment. So, but then I'm a comedian, you know, and I got jokes. You know, so I don't know. I'd be happy for any one of those calls. Okay.
So and I was just throwing it out. I was just going to, you do comedy, you do stand up,
stand up comedy.
Wow.
Women, right?
How long you been doing stand up?
I started doing stand up in 2016, so I'm a newer comedian. But when I say newer, it means that like I was never thinking that I wanted to be a comedian. You know what I mean? Like I was never like, oh, you know, I didn't grow up watching Richard Pryor and all that stuff. Now I was always into comedy, but not in a conscious way. Oh, like I want to do this. But I wound up, a whole bunch of things happened, which are stories for other times. However, and when I say things happen, I mean like my life had all these twists and turns, but most of it was really, really good stuff. So I wound up in an audition with somebody who introduced himself as a stand-up comedian. And as we were leaving, I was like, oh, you're a stand-up comedian. I was like, I tried that once, kind of. And really, I was in this movie where I was playing a comedian who was roasting somebody in the audience. And this was like a comedy roast kind of thing. So there were professional comedians who were there, actually hired as actors to roast this person. I had no experience. So I was like, I'm not a comedian. So I was like, let me at least try to have some jokes ready. So then I came up with these ridiculous your mama jokes. And then I performed that on stage and I kind of roasted the dude, but it was all improv, but it just so happened to be funny. Like everybody was like, oh, that was funny.
I love mama jokes. You got to give me at least, you got to give me one mama joke that you said. Give me one.
All right, one. Okay, this is my favorite your mama joke written by me. Hold on, let me think of it so I don't mess it up. Hold on. Okay, your mama's so fat, she sweats Crisco, it's biscuits. Can we curse on here?
You're watching The Traffic Jam.
So I need to say this because this happened to me. And I don't think this is a male or female thing. We caught in the quarantine. We all got caught in the quarantine. Way you look like you wasn't even part of this quarantine. Like you look, I don't know if it's black that don't crack. Like I put on weight. Like do you work out?
Yes, I do. Yes.
So it's okay with working out. Is it because I know what you said, you mentally and this and that, but is that attached to working out?
It's attached to everything for me. For me, I work out because I'm vain, and I like, you know what I'm saying? And not vain for other people, just vain for myself. Because I feel like I when I look my best, I feel my best, you know, but not all the time. So, but no, I work out. It helps me in every way, you know, like I have to work out because it's just a part of my lifeline. And then because I want to live a long life, like I'm like, let me, you know, try to do as much as possible to take care of my body. So I did not gain weight during quarantine. I actually lost weight. Like everything that I wasn't doing in quarantine, I was like, all right, April, you know. And I did, because I share my workouts. Like I've got I share my workouts on my page. I started this like movement called Hip to Health. Hashtag or hip to health with the number 2, just to like, you know, everybody needs to get hip to health, and really hip being the word, because like I feel like in the African American community, because of, you know, racial disparities, because of socioeconomic disparities, because of educational disparities, you know, there are so many things that affect our community, including health, just in general, how we take care of ourselves, how we know how to take care of ourselves. when pandemics come, like, if everything is going to be affected, we're going to always be hit harder because of so many different things. So I'm a big fitness person. Like, I've been in a lot of like fitness stuff. I started with the Brazil butt lift, and I work with the trainer who created it, and I'm in some of the commercials or whatever. But it's about like sharing information. And I'm like, of course, I will share information with anybody to help them. However, like, I have the Black community in mind. Like, how can I help educate to help get us healthier mentally, physically, spiritually, and even anything that I can do, not by like telling people what to do, but by sharing information. So it was important to me to kind of like share my journey so people can see, it's real, because you go on stuff and you'll see the people, everybody's all like, they got perfect hair and makeup. Like, no, I'm coming down in my bonnet. I may have pajamas on, probably. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes I brush my teeth, sometimes I didn't, but I'm here.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, we're here with April Storm Perry.
You're watching The Traffic Jam.
Hey, we're here with April Storm Perry. And listen, I see you worked out, and I know that's all the thing about the holistic and working out. We want to cut through some trainers that have some exercise with Traffic Jam.
Hi, I'm Brittany Noel, and I'm located in Los Angeles, California. You can find me on Instagram at @B_Noel Fitness. See you there.
You're watching The Traffic Jam.
All right, so ladies, please understand that you can do any chest exercise that any man does. It's not going to make you bulky. It's not going to make you lose your breast tissue. Nothing like that is going to happen. So anything they can do, we can do. The one exception is if you have had a breast augmentation and you feel uncomfortable doing the weighted exercises or push-ups, then this could be a better option for you. And to that extent, men, you can do this too. So if you are at a gym and you have the option to use the cable machines, you can use those. If you're at home, you can use resistance bands. Now, you can either take these bands, hook it to a door and do this. You can do what I'm about to show you standing, seating, or kneeling. I'm gonna do it kneeling just to show you. So I've actually wrapped this behind my back, and I'm gonna do a chest press with it. So I'm not gonna hold onto the handles because it's gonna give me too much slack and I'm not gonna be able to get the best press. But I'm gonna hold it right here. I'm gonna extend forward and back. So this is just a kneeling chest press. Again, men, women, you can do this. Ladies, this might just feel better, especially on the breast tissue, because you're gonna get a nice stretch at this point. Again, if you're using a cable machine or if this was attached to the door, you could really maximize on that chest stretch on the eccentric phase or the bringing it back phase. But you can just do this. You might feel more comfortable using bands just because it might feel less heavy or might make you feel better about lifting chest. But this is a great way. Again, I can choke up on these bands to make it heavier. I also have 3 bands attached here to the handle, so I have some pretty good resistance. You can also instead act like you're hugging a tree. This is gonna be a form of a chest fly, so that's another option for you.
You're watching The Traffic Jam.
I need to get on that, okay? I just learned some new stuff. I'm gonna do at home. I'm a big home workouter, so like I love seeing workouts from home. That was great.
You're watching The Traffic Jam.
Young man reached out to me, and he's going through a hard time, isn't it? But it's not really him. It's his woman is going through a difficult time financially, and he feels bad because he can't really do as much because he himself, he came out of bad relationships, and he's trying to get back on his feet and, take care of his situation, but he wants to do. And I commend this young man, Real men, we want to protect our woman. We want to spoil our woman. We can't watch our woman struggle. Like, we do as much as we can, but, life is about choices and making hard decisions. And he's at a crossroads. So what do? I say, hey, man, it's time that you leave this bitch and find yourself a woman with a better job. Let God take care of her, man. You got to. 1 is the magic number.
This is the Traffic Jam.